Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. It is a gorgeous afternoon here in Northern California. It is hot. It is about 90 degrees and I am hot, but I need to get some stuff done in the garden. It's about this time of year that I start reminding myself that I need to get up early and get my gardening done early so I can avoid the heat. You know, we have beautiful weather here, but we do get really, really hot in the summer, and it's just at the point where it's about 3 o'clock right now and I just need to go inside or go in the pool or something like that. So I'm gonna start getting up early. I'm saying this on camera so that I can keep myself to it. I need to start getting up early and gardening early. I think I will be thanking myself if I do that. But anyway, so today, 3 o'clock hot, I am doing plant troubleshooting right now. So, you know, that's a really normal thing in the garden. You run across issues. Pretty much every gardener, I think, runs across issues. And it doesn't mean that you're not a good gardener. It doesn't mean that you're honestly doing anything wrong. It's all part of gardening. And I'm saying that to all you newer gardeners out there because I needed to hear that when I first started gardening, because I felt like every time there was an issue that cropped up in my garden, it meant that I was a horrible gardener, or I did something wrong, or I have a brown thumb, or, you know, or anything like that. And I just had to remind myself, this is part of gardening. It may not be my favorite part of gardening, all the troubleshooting with the issues, but it is definitely a part of it. And we can make it fun, you know, make it like detective work or something like that. At least that's what I tell myself. So when I'm talking about troubleshooting problems in the garden, I'm talking about watering issues, I'm talking about pest issues, I'm talking about nutrient deficiencies, nutrient issues, and then maybe lighting issues. And I might be missing a couple of them, but those are the things that I really think about. So if I'm looking at a plant and it just looks like it's struggling to me, you know, you can look at a plant and you can see a plant is happy and healthy and it looks good and it's blooming well and the leaves look good, that's a happy plant. Then you look at another plant and the leaves are yellowing or browning or it's not blooming very well or it looks sick, that's an unhealthy plant, obviously. You know, I'm stating the obvious here, I know, but it's just the type of thing that when you see that in your garden, it's time to start looking at it and thinking about it and troubleshooting what the issue can be. And there's a lot of really good resources online for how to troubleshoot plants, but I wanted to take you all through just so that you guys could see how I kind of look at it and look at things in my garden. It's not really fair because I've been putting these off for quite a while now. That's kind of what I do with troubleshooting plants. I ignore it and I ignore it and I ignore it until it gets to the point that I really need to address it, or else these plants are going to suffer, irreversibly suffer. I've been thinking about these for a while and it's just something that I've been putting off, and now today, finally on this hot day, I really need to address it. So let me show you all the problems I'm dealing with. It's 3 different areas. Okay, so my first problem area, I've already showed you guys in my front yard garden tour, and that's this garden area that I have just inside my fence. But look at my beautiful glads right there. Don't they look so pretty right now? I am loving them. Those are from the dollar store, you guys. It was crazy. So over here, this is the area that I'm talking about, and there's 2 plants in particular. It is my limelight hydrangea that I have right here, and then I also have my star jasmine over here. And I'm concerned about the limelight hydrangea, but I'm seriously concerned about the star jasmine. Seriously concerned. And this is actually one of the first plants that I ever bought when I got started gardening. I actually had this in my last house in a container because it was a rental house. So this was a container plant and I took it with me to this house and planted it right there. So I really want it to survive. I really want to take care of it. And I hope I can figure out what is going on. There was pretty much a consensus with all of you guys, and I appreciate your input, that this is just like a pretty bad case of chlorosis. And I think I agree with you. I do not have any of the dark green veining on my leaves. They're just all like kind of solidly a light green color. And if you look over here at the star jasmine, you know, they're just not looking good. They're almost like a speckled green. So if any of you have any more suggestions, I appreciate it. Like, look at that one. The veins are like the opposite. The veins are yellow and then the rest of the leaf is green. And then I do have some like browning leaves here that are kind of just falling off. But look, you can see that leaf was yellow, so that could be from the chlorosis. And then it turned brown and then it died. So I think it is definitely a chlorosis. I'm gonna address that issue. What I did before I started filming is I wanted to test the pH. I used this thing, the soil pH tester. I also have the capsules that I used to test the soil in my blueberries. I don't know which one I like better. They're both, I don't think either of them are very specific, you know. So I think it's just a guess, but basically not a guess. I think it's an estimate, basically. What you do is you dig a hole and then you fill it with distilled water, which I actually went out and purchased distilled water this time. And then you stick this in that hole and then you see what it is. And you can see it's not bad. It's about 7, maybe a little alkaline, and high alkaline soil can inhibit the uptake of iron, which can cause chlorosis in a plant. So I don't think it is the pH going on here. I think it's just a nutrient deficiency. See this plant? But I also think the other issue that I'm going to address is, can you guys see that red thing right down there? That is the emitter for watering, and this is a slope that goes downhill that way, and I put the emitter down slope from this plant, and this was obviously one of the first plants I planted in this garden, so you know, newbie me wasn't thinking about it. Now I know better, but I do think that when it waters, the water just kind of goes down the slope and it misses like maybe half of the area of this star jasmine. And if you look deep in there, you can see those leaves way back in there are looking pretty healthy and pretty green. So I don't think it's a slam dunk troubleshooting issue. You know, I'm going to use chelated iron. Let me reach over here and grab it. I got this stuff at my local garden center. This is from Greenall, which is a local company to us. So I'm going to try and use this on both of these plants today. Now, what it does say is you do not want to spray this. You can use it as a foliar spray, but if your temperature gets above 85 degrees, which my temperature always gets above 85 degrees, you don't want to spray it on the leaves. So I will just be spraying it around in the soil and seeing how that does and hoping how that does. And then if that really fixes the issue, then I will start mulching with some organic mulch to keep the nutrients in, and then maybe treating it with this stuff on a more regular basis. So I'm going to do this guy, the chelated iron today, and then I'm also going to fix the drip over there. So problem area number 2 is my flower box, by my front porch, my front door. It's looking gorgeous. If you look over here, it's gotten hot, so the bacopa has kind of fizzled out, which I expected to happen, but that is okay. And then I have this Dichondra Silver Falls that's going to take over as soon as it starts growing a little bit. But you guys can see I have that spot and I have that spot, and they're supposed to be this corally pink begonias. Look at how gorgeous. Look at how beautiful that is. It's supposed to look like that, and it doesn't. They just died, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I do think it's a watering issue. So if I pull it all back, I don't know. It's pretty moist in here. Yeah, this is all rotted out. So however the drip is, I have to turn on the drip and check it and see what's going on. Yeah, look at this poor thing. This poor thing just rotted. Ooh. Yeah. So this is area number 2 that I have to figure out and see what's going on. I have an inline drip emitter in here somewhere if I can find it. Oh, look at this guy too. This is a Dichondra Silver Falls. Oh no. Yeah, I should have addressed this a while ago. I'm trying to find that drip emitter. There it is right here. See? So I will turn it on with my Ratio system and see kind of what is going on, what the problem is. You know, maybe it's kind of one spot is kind of spraying out or something like that. We'll see what that problem is. But I need to fix this because this was kind of a splurge for me to buy all these plants, and I want to keep them alive. You can see over here, they look great. Let me fill the soil in here. Yeah, it feels pretty much the same. Okay, so I have to check over in that area and see what is going on. So area number 2, and then let me show you area number 3. Okay, and area number 3 is this little triangle area. I was just over here around the corner by my front door, and over there is my limelight and my star jasmine, and we're over by my garage right now. These pretty purple flowers, these are tall blue planet ageratum, or floss flower. I can't say that word. They're beautiful. They're growing wonderfully. This is part of my bonus planting for my cut flower garden, and I'm really happy with it, except for this one right here. This one looks like it's struggling, and I think that this troubleshooting is going to be pretty easy because I can pretty much tell it needs water. So I don't know. I hope I caught it in time. I'll probably supplement it with a little bit of water, but you can see that I can't even find a drip emitter around here. Where's the closest drip emitter? So basically, I just need to bring a drip emitter to this guy. There's just not one. That is something I do remember doing that when I planted all of these. I didn't address the drip, and that's something that I should have done. So this is a pretty easy troubleshooting. I know it needs water. So I'm gonna water this guy really quick just to see if I can salvage it, and then I'll bring a drip emitter to it, and that should be a pretty easy fix, unlike the other two that I'm not totally sure about what's going on. All right, so starting with the easiest first, all I had to do was attach this inline drip emitter to this black emitter. I only had one emitter coming down here, and that was it to feed everything. So obviously that wasn't enough. So I just attached this inline 1/4-inch strip tubing and kind of ran it all around these, and hopefully that should help with that one. I don't know if I caught it in time. I hope I did because it still has some green leaves on it. We'll just see. And then I gave it some supplemental water right here. You can see this one is super, super happy and thriving really well. So we'll just see. And if that one dies, that's okay. I'll just bring... You know what? It's okay. I won't even transplant. I'll just kind of leave it. I don't know. I might transplant one of these because these guys get less sun than these three do. So I think I'll get more flower production out of these as the season goes on. So yeah, so area number 3 taken care of. Now, I guess area number 2 next. Okay, so I got a bucket. I'm first going to clean out this area just so I have a better look. These plants have just completely melted away. Poor things. So now that I have the area all cleaned out, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Hydrangea drip system and then just take a look at the watering and see what the watering actually looks like while it's going on. I can't find the drip hose right here though. Oh, it's really deep. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's too deep for the plants. Okay, let me turn it on and then we'll see what's going on. So the drip is going, and now I'm just kind of watching it to see what's happening. And honestly, you guys, it could just be a fluke that these two died. They could have just not been good plants. I don't know. Okay, so here's a drip emitter right here. Looks fine. Here's a drip emitter right next to this one that's totally happy. And that one looks fine as well. I don't know. Okay, so here's the problem, I think. I am reaching down deep into this flower box, and I'm pulling out the water, and then as I squeeze it, I don't know if you guys can see, it's dripping. It's way too wet. Way too wet. So I think I'm just gonna shorten this guy. I'll have to take the whole thing out and then just kind of shorten it, have less emitters on it, and see if that helps before I plant any more plants in here. So I do have this one begonia that kind of matches that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant that one after I figure this drip emitter out. But basically I'm just gonna, it's kind of like S-shaped, the emitter, and I'm just gonna do one straight line instead. And we'll see how that does. We'll see how the flower box likes it. Okay, so I think I have this flower box taken care of. You guys saw when I was squeezing the soil kind of where the begonias were, it was basically dripping with water. So it's been getting way overwatered, and I don't know if that's because there was too many emitters to it or because there's a drainage hole clogged deep underneath there, and I obviously don't want to dig all this out. So all I did is I went in and I cut off 2 of the emitters to this inline drip tubing that I have here. So there's 2 less emitters to this whole flower box. So hopefully that helps. You know, if things continue to die in here, then I will assume that I have a clogged drainage hole or something like that. But I do think it is a watering issue. I did plant this one, this extra begonia that I found when we went shopping for fairy garden stuff, and I completely forgot to water it since then. It's only been a couple days, so I think it should be fine. But all I have to do is I have to go to the garden center and look for another of this color of Reiger begonia to put in this gap that I have right there. And hopefully I find it. I usually find Reiger begonias in the spring, like earlier spring. So I don't know if I'll find them now since we're getting closer to summer, but I will cross my fingers and I will keep looking. And it doesn't look horrible with the gap. I just don't love it. So yeah, so I really love Reiger begonias. They usually bloom all season long for me. Well, last year they bloomed all season long in this spot right here. I had Reiger begonias mixed with the Surefire Rose begonias from Proven Winners, which I wintered over. I will turn slowly. I wintered over in my greenhouse, and now they are right here. And I have to say, they are doing beautifully right here. Absolutely gorgeous. So when I had them in the flower box last year, they were a light pink color. The whole thing was a light pink color. So kind of like the inside of this flower, they were all that color. And now that they're getting more sun, they're way more of a rose color, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Ignore the drip. I have to put more mulch in this area. So I'm thinking I'm just going to leave these guys here. They are a zone 10, so they're technically an annual in my zone, but I think this is like enough of a protected area. I think that I can probably try and winter them over. And the reason why I say that is because I have this beautiful plant right here, which is common heliotrope. It smells so amazing. I love, love, love this plant. And I wintered it over here. This is a zone 10, and the Surefire Rose begonia are a zone 10 as well. So I think that that's my plan, is that I'm just going to try and leave both of these plants here over the winter. And then if we get a frost, we only get a couple frosts every winter, I'll just run out here and I'll throw a harvest guard over it and cross my fingers. So yeah, so I think that that looks really pretty. I might even if I find more of the Surefire Rose, might even kind of like extend it out. Wouldn't that be pretty? So this garden bed is shaping up really nice. All right, so troubleshooting area number 3 is done, number 2 is done, and now my hardest one is number 1, which is the limelight hydrangea and the star jasmine. All right, let's get to it. I don't think you guys could see any of that. I apologize. But what I did is I just connected a T coupler to that black tubing way back here. There's a T coupler, and then I connected the inline drip and I wrapped it all the way around the base of this plant. So I'm running a quick run zone right now just to check it, and it looks like it's doing well. So this plant will now be getting water on all sides of it. So if there was any watering issues, which I do suspect that was part of the problem, it's going to be getting water basically all around the plant and not just on one side of the plant, and then which is on a slope and it's running itself off. So yeah, so watering issue taken care of. Now the last thing I have to do is the chelated iron. All right, so this is the stuff I used. It told me first to wet the soil completely and let it soak in. So I did that, and then what I did is I diluted 2 ounces of this per gallon of water. So I used a 2-gallon watering can right there, filled it up, and put 4 ounces of the chelated iron in it. And then I just spread it equally between the two because it said do 1 gallon per 1 inch of trunk. And I'm just counting both of these as having a 1-inch trunk diameter. And then I just put it around the drip line. So hopefully I didn't hurt this Superbena that I have right here. I'm sure I probably did. It's probably going to burn, but that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice at least a little bit of that to help the limelight hydrangea, and then I put it all around my star jasmine. So hopefully this works with it. I might do, like a couple subsequent applications as time goes on, and I'm just going to watch it really closely and see what a difference it makes over, the next couple weeks. All right, everyone, that is it for my troubleshooting in the garden day. I think the purpose of this video that I wanted to get across to you guys was, especially you new gardeners, was that having issues in the garden is totally normal. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad gardener or you're doing anything wrong or you don't have a green thumb. It just comes with the territory of gardening. And I will be the first to admit that it is definitely not my favorite part of gardening. I am so impressed with the people who work at garden centers that deal with questions like this all day, because I would be stressed trying to rack my brain and trying to figure out what is going on in my garden. But it is part of it, and like I said, we can make it fun and make it kind of like detective work to find out what's going on. I will keep all of you totally updated on the progress of these 3 areas that I'm dealing with, just to see if these troubleshooting the issues and these changes, little tweaks that I made a difference to these plants. So everybody cross your fingers for me. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you guys have any further suggestions or questions about what I did, leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them as best I can. If you all would consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a chance to get into your garden today.